So we are live now, Madam Chair.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that the County of Haliburton is located on Treaty 20 Mishi-Saugig territory and in the traditional territory of the Mishi-Saugig and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We acknowledge a shared presence of Indigenous nations throughout the area and recognize its original Indigenous inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Good evening. My name is Liz Danielson, and I will be your chairperson for tonight's hearing. I'd like to introduce you to the other members of the Land Division Committee. Bill Blakes from Minden Hills, Pat Kennedy from Dysart et al., and Bob Snyder from Highlands East. With us, as well as our Director of Planning, Steve Stone, and our Acting Secretary Treasurer, Michelle Moore. This meeting is held through remote electronic participation in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. The purpose of the hearing is to give the applicant or authorized agent the opportunity to discuss their application with the committee and to respond to written submissions which may have been received. It's also an opportunity for the committee to broaden our understanding of the application by asking questions. Members of the public who are participating virtually today may also make oral submissions to the committee. The procedure we use is to hear the applications in the same order as they were received in our office. Our Secretary Treasurer will introduce each application and our planner will provide a planning brief. When participants registered for the meeting, the file number of the application they have an interest in was noted by the staff. Participants wishing to take part in the hearing will be admitted virtually to the meeting and will be provided 5 minutes to speak to the committee. As the chair, I will then ask the members of the committee if they have any questions. So we will now proceed with the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, and Member Blakes, sorry.
Moved by Member Kennedy, second by Member Blakes, be it resolved that the May 9th, 2022 Land Division Committee agenda be hereby approved.
All in favor? That's carried. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of April the 11th, please? Moved by Member Blake, seconded by Member Snyder.
Moved by Member Blakes, second by Member Snyder, be it resolved that the minutes of the Land Division Committee meeting held April the 11th, 2022 be approved as printed and circulated.
All in favor? That's carried. I don't believe that there's any business arising from the previous meeting, so we'll move forward with the applications. The first one being Murphy for an application for change in conditions.
Yes, Madam Chair, and to the rest of the committee. This was the request of the applicant, and since the request was made, we now have a legal opinion that indicates that the lapsing date will not occur towards the end of this month on the 19th, but actually because it is still active, it enjoys the benefit of the new regulation change that came into effect January of this year. And as a result of that, it now benefits from a 2-year lapsing date. So it will not lapse this year, it will lapse this time next year. So from that perspective, staff do not feel there's a need to have a change of conditions. And a matter of fact, I can advise the committee that we have received correspondence from Highlands East indicating that they have cleared their conditions. So it now rests in the hands of the applicant's solicitor, and we're hoping that paperwork will be given to the Secretary Treasurer in short order so that we can finalize the application.
Okay, so there's no action required by us then?
There is not.
Okay, that was easy. The next is an application by Paul and Michelle Smart from Dysart et al.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This would be an application that the committee has seen before. It was actually before the committee in November of last year, and the matter was deferred along with the two related applications, was referred for the benefit of the applicant's agent addressing some of the environmental concerns that were raised by the peer review. The application 22 is a new lot creation, 23 is a new lot creation, and 24 is a lot addition. The lots are in a shoreline area of the official plan at the township level, and it's in the rural area of the county official plan. The concerns that were raised were related to some additional technical study required to address the environmental policies of both the local official plan and county official plan. And you'll see in the report that they've been specified what the responses were. So at the staff level, we're of the opinion that all three applications now are consistent with provincial policy. They're in conformity with local official plans, and the conditions that are presented in all the reports will satisfy those concerns that were raised by the municipality as well as the county. In particular, in application 24, you'll know that there's a requirement for this particular lot in application 22 to be registered in advance before the lot addition can take place. So that's the unique condition that you'll find in application 24. So as stated, the 22 and 23 are applications for new shoreline lots. They meet the requirements of the zoning regulations for the municipality. And 24, there's a request by the applicant to join a piece of property that has an existing cabin at the shoreline. And there's also acceptance that that cabin will not be used for a habitable space, that it'll be used for storage. So from a zoning compliance perspective, all three applications meet the municipal zoning requirements. And that is it for my presentation. I do know that there is the applicant agent in EcoView that's in the lobby that can speak to the applications as well.
Okay, but if you want to let them in, and then we'll see if there's questions of either you or the applicant.
So they are now with us. I don't know if they can you. Is this Kent? Is Kent? Yes.
Good evening.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
it's Jessica, right?
Good evening. It is.
Yes.
Good evening, Land Division and Madam Chair. My name is Jessica Ray Reed. I am here from EcoView on behalf of Kent. And I believe that Steve has covered everything that I was looking to say. We've reviewed the report and we agree with what's in there. We're happy with what's the committee has decided with. So thank you for putting us forward and hearing us now. But anything else, I'm here to answer any questions.
Do any members of the committee have questions on I guess all three of these files? Mr. Blakes?
Just clarification there, Steve. The shed located on the property, you said it's going to be used for storage. In the municipal comments, it said that the storage is proposed to be removed. Has there been a change of heart with the municipality?
Well, the issue really was about it being used as a habitable room. So in essence would constitute a second dwelling unit on the property, which is not permitted. So my understanding is that they're going to go through a compliance exercise at the township level to ensure it's not going to be used for habitable space. I believe storage is appropriate, okay. But maybe Jessica has some response to that.
Yeah, through the chair, I can quickly speak to that. So I should note, so because there are 4 lots being proposed here, the furthest one that is east does have an existing shed. Well, it did, that was taken down. That was taken down sometime in 2021. So that one has already been done. Now the one that is part of the lot addition, that one is being added. We are happy to include text in, as we require a zoning bylaw amendment, we're happy to include text in the zoning that kind of exclusively prohibits habitation in that specific structure, just to ensure that we're covered there, to the satisfaction of the municipality, of course.
That would be something done by the municipality.
Yeah.
Mr. Kennedy, you had a question, and then Mr. Snyder.
No, it's just just going to clarify for Member Blake that the shed he's referring to has been removed. As
Okay.
in the log cabin, just a little mix up in terms there, I believe. So no questions.
Is it habitable, do you think?
The log cabin, I'm not sure. The shed's gone. So
Member Snyder, you had a question?
Yes, yeah, just want to clarify from my own understanding. Is the Shore Road allowance owned in either of the lots that are being created? And does it matter?
I think it might matter. In some municipalities, it matters a lot.
Yes, looking at the lot fabric, and again, Jessica can comment on this as well. I believe it looks like it's owned, but I could, Jessica, can you speak to that?
Absolutely, through the chair. I do also believe that it is owned, but we can clarify that with DICERT, and we can go through with that if that is necessary.
And then my other question is, and it's probably really just for the applicant to understand or know, the lot line extensions look like the dock that's on lot 1. It will cross or intersect pretty close with the lot line extension, just from the sketch that's been provided.
So that's on 24, is that correct?
I get confused. I think so, yes.
Yeah.
It's the one that creates, no, it's the one that the retained lot, which is lot number 1.
It's lot number 1. Let me pull that one up. So on 22, is that correct? So,
Yes.
okay. And again, can you repeat the question for me as well?
Well, it just looks like from the sketch that the lot line extension will intersect with the dock, but I'm only working from the sketches.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
And actually, yeah. So there may be some zoning amendments there.
Well, certainly when you look at the provision of condition number 6, and that would be on application 23, there is a requirement for zoning. So if an issue like that does arise through the township's compliance review, they can actually put they can do one of 2 things. They can ask for the dock to be shifted so that it will comply with the setback requirements, or they can actually write in a provision to deal with the non-compliance at that point. So that's on application H2321, and just looking at H22 just to make sure if there's a similar condition to that effect. Yes, so it has condition number 7. So in both new lot creations, there's an opportunity to address any lot line non-compliances as a result of the creation of lots can be addressed through that exercise.
Okay.
Is it possible for us to add a condition that the Shore Road allowances be owned?
Most definitely, the committee can ask that it just that the applicant's agent or solicitor verify that the Shore Road allowance is actually owned by the applicants.
Would the committee agree to that additional condition? Okay,
So I would suggest that you do it for both 2022 and 23.
Yeah. so we have, are there any further questions about any of these three applications?
Nope.
So we have three separate resolutions.
Mhm.
And you can make that amendment to it, Michelle?
Yes, thank you, Chair Danielson. I can state on the report as amended and reflected in the conditions, if that's agreeable with the committee members.
Is that agreeable with the committee?
Yes.
Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder for the application 2221? The first under Paul and Michelle Smart. Moved by member Snyder, seconded by member Kennedy.
Moved by member Snyder, seconded by member Kennedy. Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H-22 of 21 Smart, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval application for consent H-22 of 21 Smart, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report as amended. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Snyder, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea.
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Okay,
And that's carried.
okay, if we could hear the resolution for H-2321 Smart 5 Holdings.
If I could ask for a mover and a seconder,
Oh,
please.
sorry, could I have a mover and a seconder for that resolution? Member Blakes, seconded by member Kennedy.
Be it resolved, moved by member Blake, second by member Kennedy. Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H-23 of 21 Smart, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-23 of 21 Smart, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report as amended. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Snyder, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay.
And that's carried.
Okay, we'll move forward with file number 02421, Smart 5 Holdings. Could I have a mover and a seconder for that resolution, please? Member Blake, seconded by member Snyder.
Moved by member Blake, second by member Schneider. Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H-24 of 21 Smart, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-24 of 21 Smart, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay,
Thank you, that's carried.
thank you. So the next file is by Silverton in Algonquin Highlands.
I'm just bringing this one up as well. Okay.
Excuse me, Chair Danielson.
Yes,
We missed H-10 of 22 in the name of.
Yes, the May application.
my apologies. Okay, we'll step back to that file H010/22 Ronald May in Minden Hills.
So thank you, Madam Chair, for the rest of the committee. So this application is for a lot addition. It's in the township of Minden Hills, and it's proposing to add a approximately almost 2,700 square meters to an abutting parcel, and the retained lands will be 31 hectares in size. In terms of designation, in the county OP, it'll be a rural designation, as most rural properties are. And in the Township of Minden Hills official plan, it will be waterfront and within their rural land use designation as well. And when you consider the zoning bylaw, for example, a rural lot will have a minimum size of 2 hectares and 100 meters of frontage. And the reduction of the existing lot for the lot addition will not compromise the zoning bylaw in any ways. And in terms of general conformity with the official plans, there is no issue there as well. And from a consistency with provincial policy statement, given the recreational use that exists on this property, again, there is no issue with provincial policy. The application was reviewed by township staff, and their conditions are reflected in the conditions of approval. You will note sort of the significant condition requires for rezoning of the severed parcel, and so that is reflected in the conditions. So based on that, we believe it's at the staff level good planning, and our recommendation is to approve what is being requested. I do know that the agent is in the lobby and may wish to speak to the application.
Okay. Does the agent have any comments that you wish to make? Mr. Bishop?
Hello, Madam Chair. I hope everyone can hear me here.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I don't have much to add past what Steve just said there. We're essentially looking to add a small bit of land to an existing lot to increase its size, eventually to add a garage to the existing house. So there's not too much exciting going on in this one.
Do any members of the committee have questions either of Mr. Stone or Mr. Bishop? Hearing none. Could I have a mover and a seconder then to approve this request? Member Blake's and seconded by Member Kennedy.
Moved by Member Blake, second by Member Kennedy. Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-10 of 2022 in the name of May, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of the application for consent H-10 of 2022 May, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report. Member Kennedy, yay or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yay or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yay or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yay or nay?
Yay.
That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move to the next application, Silverton in Algonquin Highlands.
Just bringing this application up as well.
Just a comment in the form that these are copied. They're very small on the screen, and you can't click on them and enlarge them.
So you, my apologies, you mean the actual report, you can't increase it to like 150% or anything like that? There's a icon at the very top, that may assist you, I agree. The last two files opened up at like 22%, and you can't, that's why it's taking me a bit, because it's happening at my end as well. So can you see that at the very top?
Yeah, it's just that when you do that, then the next document you go to is too big.
Yes, or it disappears off the screen. That happens as well. So my apologies on the glitches with this. So yes, just to provide Madam Chair and the rest of the committee with this one, it's a lot addition request as well. And in this particular case, they're asking for almost 7,000 square meters to be added to an adjoining property. And the retained parcel will have a residual area of 91 square meters. And it is in a shoreline residential area. So it'll be for, if you want to use the word, make more regular lots that are more common in the area. So certainly the benefiting property is a smaller parcel, but it will, with the addition, look more like the other lots in the neighborhood. The application, when you look at it from a county's perspective, the official plan will have it as a rural designation, and it does as permitted uses, allows for recreational based uses such as cottages. It is on Coagama Lake, which is a lake trout lake, but it is not at capacity. In terms of Algonquin Highlands official plan, it will designate these properties as waterfront land uses as well. The township planner did have a fulsome review of that, and it was noted that they have a number of conditions, but they're of the opinion that it is in general conformity with their official plan, and it's not offensive to the zoning regulations. You'll see that their conditions have been added to the approvals. Most importantly, I mentioned the need for rezoning. There's also a parkland dedication fee that they're requesting as well. And finally, there's a confirmation of the continuance of right-of-way access out to a public road. So those are reflected in the conditions. So based on that, the recommendation from staff is that it represents good planning, conforms with the official plan, is consistent with provincial policy, and that the conditions, if approved, will address the municipal concerns. With that, I do know the agent is in the lobby and may wish to add something to that. So,
And that would be Mr. Bishop?
no, that will be
Okay, I see
Lanny.
on the screen.
Lanny, so I've just
Okay.
brought him in. Hi, Lanny, can you hear us? It says he's unmuted, so.
He's got his hand up.
Does he? Oh, okay. What's he asking for? I can promote him to panelist, but then I'll remove him after that if you would like.
All right.
Okay.
There's nothing in the chat line.
So he is promoted. Maybe on his end. There he is.
There is.
Hi there. Yeah, I could
Hi,
I can hear you. I can hear you folks loud and clear, but obviously you couldn't hear me. So
Yeah. So
I got a promotion. I got a promotion from the planner.
yes.
Right on. Are there any comments you'd like to make about the application?
No, I think that's a fair and accurate assessment by the planner. I appreciate the efforts bringing it forward. I think it's a fairly straightforward lot addition. There's no new lots being created. There's no zoning bylaw amendment required. There's no further non-compliances. As Steve had indicated, it's sort of squaring up the lot a little bit, if you will, instead of that L-shaped lot that wraps around in behind. So it'll be more consistent with the existing lotting pattern and sort of avoid some potential land use conflicts in the future. Certainly it's a larger piece of property that's being added to the front property, and both these properties are in they're in different ownership, but the same principles. So they're just doing a land swap to try and equalize the land. Septic systems proposed at the back of the property. The whole reason, I guess, for the lot addition, notwithstanding the fact that it makes a better lot fabric, and it's certainly a lot further away from the water than what was previously approved and will be. So I think it's a net benefit, if you will, overall. Thanks, and hopefully committee will approve the application.
Do any of our committee members have questions about this application? Member Snyder?
I'm going on the assumption that there is probably a hydro easement through the middle of the lot. Is there?
No, there's no hydro easement there.
Okay.
The right of way that exists on the lot addition actually goes to the retained property, if you will. That's in the same ownership. So.
Okay. My comment was going to be with hydro easements, quite often there's a restriction on encroaching on that easement, even if it's a septic system. And so where the septic is being placed, if there's an easement there, the septic may not be able to go there.
Yeah, well, we sort of beat that to death, that issue, in terms of putting the septic on the opposite side, making sure we didn't offend the easement that's on the severed lot. So there's no issue that arose as part of that line traveling through under the existing easement and into the severed lands in behind.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it was more of a caution to them.
Are there any other questions of either Mr. Stone or it's Mr. McDonald, isn't it?
No, oh, Lanny McDonald. I just, no, Lanny Dennis.
Lanny Dennis. Okay, sorry.
If I may respond to
Absolutely.
Member Schneider's comment, obviously he is correct, but it'll be borne out at the time that the seek building permit for any sort of septic system, that will be raised at that point. So strictly from an approval perspective, even though Lanny's ghosted in the septic system, it'll be further reviewed and its location determined at the time of building permit. So.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or concerns? Could I have a mover and a seconder then to approve this application? Moved by Member Kennedy, seconded by Member Snyder.
Moved by Member Kennedy, second by Member Snyder. Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-12 of 22 Silvertown, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-12 of 22 Silvertown, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Snyder, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay.
That's carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you, Lanny. Okay, the next application is by Monaco and Legacy in Algonquin Highlands.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, to the rest of committee. This again is a lot addition to the abutting lands. This one's rather interesting insofar as that there's 3 lots involved at the moment. And after everything is done with the lot additions, the middle lot will be divided into 2 and shared with the lots next door. The ownership of the lots are in the persons described in the application. In terms of official plan policy, both the county recognized it as a rural designation, and Algonquin Highlands official plan shows it as a waterfront land use designation. And the effect, as I said, is enlarging 2 existing lots, which is a positive thing around our lakes. With regards to looking at the township zoning bylaw, you'll notice that the frontage required is a minimum 60 meters in the rural area and a hectare in size. This will actually enhance the lot sizes, which again is a good good thing from a development perspective. The applications were vetted with the township planner, and his comments are reflected in the report, as well as the requirements of the township are reflected in the conditions. With that, we feel that there's conformity with the official plan, and also doesn't create any further non-compliances with the local zoning bylaw. So with that, based on the conditions, we believe the application does have merit. I do have the agent in the lobby as well, and I can bring Emily in if you would like.
Okay, by all means.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here representing Deborah Legacy and Adele Monaco, the owners of the benefiting lands, as well as the co-owners of the subject property to be divided. I don't have much to say. I'm just here to answer questions. It's fairly straightforward. It's benefit to Wren Lake, I think, just eliminating that undersized lot and making these other two lots considerably larger. There's no development proposed. That middle lot doesn't have any structures on it except for a dilapidated dock that I believe is to be removed. Yeah, I'm just here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Do any of the members of the committee have questions? Member Blakes?
It's just about shoreline road allowance. I remember we ran into a problem with one of these applications before, where the benefiting lots owned the shoreline allowance and the middle lot did not. Do you know if all three lots own the shoreline allowance?
So through you, Chair Danielson, I don't believe that any of the lots actually own the road allowance based on the survey. And I think that whole sort of peninsula there, none of them appear to own their shore road allowance.
Okay.
Do you wish to suggest that that be a condition of the approval? In this case, when none of the shore road allowances are owned, it may not make a difference.
It may be a good idea to include that as a condition.
What do other members of the committee think? Member Kennedy?
Not sure what the benefit is to that if none of the lots are already owned. I think the problem has been when one or two of the lots were owned, and then when they made the other one, that one of them was just to clarify it up. But
Member Snyder, thoughts?
Looks like he's frozen in time.
Bob, are you there?
Well, it looks like he might be locked.
We might have to give him a moment to see if he can.
Oh, there he is.
He's back.
Can you hear us now, Bob?
Yeah, I think I'm back.
There you go.
Welcome to rural internet.
Any thoughts on the shore road allowance and whether that needs to be a condition in this application?
Do you know, or does the know if there's any of the structures on the lots are on the shore road allowance?
Through you, Madam Chair. I believe there's a couple of docks. One dwelling may encroach a little bit. Actually, I can be honest, I'm not sure if I have those numbers with me. We don't have a site plan by the survey which shows the dwelling. No development is proposed in the shoreline, that's for sure. I don't see the benefit of incurring an additional cost at this time when none of the properties own their shore road allowance, but I leave that up to committee.
A dock would be allowed whether they own the shore road allowance or not, but I would be concerned to know whether there's an encroachment on the shore road allowance. That would make it a requirement.
I can certainly get that information for committee, or we can make that a condition to should that be the case, that we can wrap that in. Steve, would that be something that's doable?
Well, you can certainly, what you can do is a condition can be added that verifies ownership of the shore road allowance. And if it is true that it's not owned, further verification can be asked for to identify any sort of encroachments. That could be added as well. I'm just trying to pull up the air photos on this to get a better look at it. So if you bear with me.
We can do that.
Not that this is terribly accurate, but
Yeah, I hear your point, Emily, about, you know, there not being, there's nothing gained by adding additional costs to it. But if there is an encroachment onto the shore road allowance, that does have an impact and makes a difference.
so just judging, and again, this is not necessarily 100% accurate, but just judging from what I see, it looks like the shore road allowance is not owned. And that would go to what Emily was saying.
Okay, so does the committee wish to make that a condition? That if there is an encroachment, that there would be a requirement for the shore road allowance to be purchased?
I'd be happy with that.
Or another option to avoid unnecessarily length, the other option would be to have the encroachment satisfactorily addressed to the townships, to the satisfaction of the municipality. That might work as well. Emily, what I'll sort of, Emily, you're the agent. What would that be suffice?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I think that would be good wording on from my perspective. I think that's fair.
Would that be agreeable to the committee?
Mhm.
Okay, that sounds good, Steve.
Okay. So that would have to be reflected in both benefiting parcels. So
Yeah.
Just so the Secretary or Treasurer knows to add that condition in both cases.
Any other questions on this application? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to accept the application with the appropriate amendments? Member Blake, seconded by Member Snyder.
Moved by Member Blake, second by Member Schneider, be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-16 of 22, Monaco and Legacy, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-16 of 22, Monaco and Legacy, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report as amended. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay.
That's carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think that the next application is Mancuso and Mancuso in Minden Hills.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, to the rest of committee. Again, this is another lot addition. Actually, Emily will be speaking on behalf of her clients for this application as well. So in this particular case, what is being asked to be added to is the transfer of almost 3,500 square meters to a budding parcel adjacent to this. When you look at the official plans, again, the county official plan has this in a rural designation, which does permit recreational uses such as cottages. The Township of Minden Hills official plan identifies it as a waterfront designation and does permit recreational residential uses as well. From a zoning perspective for SR lots, the minimum frontage is 60 meters, and the area is 4,000 square meters. With regards to conformity and consistency with policies, there is no issues here. The application was vetted through the township planners, and they have returned positive comments with a number of conditions as well. Most importantly, you'll notice that they're asking for a rezoning application. Again, that will assist the applicant bringing matters into compliance with the zoning regulations at the township. So based on that there is merit to this application, and we're recommending approval subject to conditions. Now Emily's here to speak to that as well.
Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that Steve summed it up pretty well, where we are understanding of the requirement for the rezoning at the township level. Again, it's another issue where we've got sort of we're kind of, you know, benefiting the lake by reducing sort of an extra lot on there. I'm kind of in the business of that these days, it looks like. So I think, you know, both lots have dwellings on them. The retained land has an older structure on it. I don't know how to do that, but fine, but no development proposed.
You're very difficult to hear.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Is that better? Sorry about that.
it is.
Yeah, so sorry, I'll just back up. There's existing development on both properties. It's just basically making the benefiting property sort of more usable and just better for the lake, I think. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward, I think, as well. I'm just here to answer questions.
Any questions from the committee? Member Snyder?
So the portion that's being severed, are there any structures on it or any access off into it?
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no structures on that portion. It's forested for the most part.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? I kind of wonder about the triangular piece of land that's looks like it's sort of left over, but it may be another privately owned parcel. Do you know about that triangular piece that runs along the road, Steve?
I don't, to be honest.
I guess it's not relative, I guess, just curious. Any other questions from the committee?
No, I'll just make a comment about the shoreline road lands again. It looks like neither property owned it anyway, so can anybody confirm that?
Just looking again at the parcel factory, it suggests that it is owned. At least on the subject lands that are, and I'm also hazarding a guess, given that some of the existing development being that close to the water suggests that it might be owned as well.
Okay.
But that would be a guess on my part.
Through you, Madam Chair. I think the survey also indicates that.
Okay,
That it's owned.
thanks for that clarification.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve this application? Moved by member Blake, seconded by member Kennedy.
Moved by member Blake, second by member Kennedy, be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-17 of 22 Mancuso, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-17 of 22 Mancuso, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blake's yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay.
That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too. Next is Shaw in Dysart et al. For creation of a new lot.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and to the rest of the committee. This application is for a new lot. It's in the rural area of the county, and it's also in the rural area of Dysart official plan. With regards to the most sort of pertinent policies would be the minimum size requirement that is established by Dysart official plan. So you're looking at a minimum lot area of 0.8 8 hectares or 2 acres. And in terms of zoning, the proposed lot would have to be rezoned to a rural type 1 zone, which permits smaller lots. And there also is requirement for such things as parkland dedication because they're creating a new lot as well. That's reflected in the comments that we received from Dysart planning staff, and their request for conditions are reflected in the conditions before that. The other sort of significant condition that was asked for would be a site development plan for the new lot, as well as the scoped environmental impact study, and that was undertaken by the applicant, and it will be reflected in a severance agreement with the township. So also the committee will note that the application was circulated to the public within the vicinity of the application, and public input was received, and that's reflected at the last part of the staff report. So you can see that there. They are concerned with the proximity of the proposed lot. What we've tried to do as staff was to reflect those concerns in the actual condition, and you'll see condition number 5. This is something that I've done throughout my career to try to deal with what we call in the business hockey stick lots. Now, the applicant has retained an agent, and that agent would like to speak to that as well. So that would be Sue Harrison. And certainly, this is something that we have done, I've done over my career, but it's not something that was requested by the township. And certainly Sue will speak to this, and she would rather have this discussion at the township level rather than this being a condition, and it would be up to committee to consider that. So Sue will be brought in to allow her to talk. Hi, Sue, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, we have a happy solution. Through you, Madam Chair, as Steve said, I am concerned about putting this restriction on this early in the process. It seems premature to me. We understand that a zoning bylaw amendment is required. We are 100% behind that, and we think the planning process will allow for public input at that time. And things like any limits of where development can occur on the lot can be addressed at that time. We don't believe that any analysis has been done to establish that anything would be incompatible back there. The bulk of the development that they want to place on the lot is certainly close to Tom Bolton Road. They're going to put a house and a garage, driveway, septic well. So we believe that when I talked to the property owners today, they indicated that why they went with that configuration was there's a really nice sort of field meadow area, and they have a young family and they want to have the kids play back there where it's well away from the road. It's not their intent to put any development there at this time, but they also don't want to preclude the right to, you know, maybe put a shed back there at some point in time. But certainly the bulk of the development would occur up to the road. So I did take a look at the 2 lots that were cited in the restriction, and the lot at 2344, which is the northernmost lot. You know, when you look at the air photo, I would say the back 3/4 of that lot is vacant. So that is roughly 100 meters of space before you hit the line where the proposed severance would be, which is quite a significant area. And then the lot to the south, the 2338, I'd say approximately 1/3 of the property is vacant, like where the last buildings are built. So that was about 60 meters of distance before you would hit the line where the proposed severance is, and which are pretty healthy buffers. And I would also note that both of those properties have sort of tree lines near the back of the property, which would create another significant buffer between it and any proposed use of the lot to be severed. So I'm not at all saying that we can't look at this issue, but I think it's premature to just blanket restrict development back there without taking a closer look. And when we go through the zoning amendment process, it's under the Planning Act, there's definitely public meetings, public input, which is to be considered and weighed in terms of what it might translate into setbacks or buffers or anything, should any of those things be appropriate. So I'm just asking to take the restriction out now and have it addressed through the zoning amendment bylaw process.
Thoughts from committee members and or questions?
Well, while you're considering that, I did send an invitation out to the person who did provide those comments. I'm not sure if they're actually in attendance tonight, but I will ask if they are, if they can raise their hand, and they may want to address the committee as well.
Steve, may I almost note too that the property owners are also in attendance, I believe. And I don't know if they have anything they wish to say too.
Yeah, I can certainly allow them to talk as well. Oh, there is a person who did put up their hand, so I will. They're identified as the owner. Is that if they could unmute themselves? There.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Yes, we are here.
And who is the second individual that's on the screen? It just says owner.
That's I'm her husband, Makai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we're the owners.
And you would like to speak to the application?
No, we are pretty pleased with everything that Sue is saying on our behalf. I'm actually not sure which button we have pressed, so we're sorry we pushed a button, but no, we're pretty happy with everything Sue is saying. As she had mentioned, we're it's not our intention to build back there as of or their intention to build back there. We're just hoping to, give them a place for the kids to play.
Is there anyone else in the waiting room who wishes to speak to the application, Steve?
I know I do have two other attendees, both by the first name Bob. One is Bob Crump, who is actually for the last application. I'm not sure about the other Bob. I will just allow them to speak to see if they're interested in talking on this application. So Bob, if you can hear me, if you can unmute, are you interested in this application?
Bob, do you wish to speak to the committee? I really have difficulty with not knowing people's names.
That's the shortcomings of Zoom. So I would say there, since I've asked him to unmute, so he has.
I've raised my hand 2 times.
Yeah. So I would say it's okay for.
Are we still on the microphone?
Yes, you are.
Oh, hi, I'm sorry. A part of the meeting are the owners who we would like to sell the lot to, and they're asking for permission to speak. His name is Kieran Galuli, if you can see him on there.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't see him. So, which one is he?
Oh my.
5 times.
Oh, I can hear him.
Yeah, he's trying to raise his hand, he said on the meeting.
Yes, so he is, he's unmuted, so if he's identified as the owner, is that correct?
No,
can you hear me?
One at a time. We've got two unidentified people on the screen. One it says owner and one says Bob.
I'm not Bob.
Well, whoever is got their name Bob listed, would they please speak or forever hold their peace?
Yeah. So I don't think Bob is interested in this application.
Well, then he doesn't need to be on the screen.
Well, yeah, to be honest, let me see. If I remove him, then I don't have the opportunity to bring him in for the next application.
Oh,
So it
okay.
could be that Bob is listed twice.
So the person identified as owner,
Yes.
is that still Mackay Shaw?
Yes.
Pretty confusing here. So there's the owner and the to be proposed severed property, which is Kieran Galooly.
And Mr. Galooly or Kieran
Yes.
is
Yep.
not in the room to speak.
I'm not sure how to work a computer, so
Is he with you?
Is this Kieran who's speaking now?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're identified as the owner.
Okay.
So if you want to, you want to speak?
So I'm not the owner of the property now, but
Right.
I am to be the owner of the proposed severed property.
And you wish to speak to the application?
Yeah, just further kind of clarifying the fact of that on the consent number 5 that we're not planning on building anything in the back property. It's there's not enough room, and again, as Sue was saying, that the proposed development is to be all at the front of the property where it's the largest. So no, there's not going to be any development in the back of the property.
Well, then there shouldn't be an issue with asking for a condition that there be no development at the back of the property.
So
Through you, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Kieran, when Madam Chair, that's Sue Harrison speaking.
Yes.
When I spoke to the wife of Kieran this morning, it was more the principle of, it certainly is not their intent to build anything right now, but the principle of having the restriction placed, and maybe when the kids were a bit older, wanting to put a shed down there to keep some of their, toy footballs, whatever, down there. So they didn't really want to have that restriction on the property. That was my understanding of their objection. And as I said, I still feel that it's something that could be dealt with through the zoning bylaw amendment. We deal with setbacks and buffers and all those sorts of controls through the zoning amendment on a regular basis. So I just feel like this kind of blindsided them, and there really hadn't been any analysis done. And I just want to be fair to the potential property owner.
Do members of the committee have questions about this application? I'm hearing two different things. One, we're not going to build anything back there, and other, we might build something there later on. So, I look to the committee for questions or comments. Member Snyder?
Hi. So if the dogleg portion was not included in the lot, would the lot meet the minimum requirements?
Through you, Madam Chair, it's Sue Harrison. they're going to, are you talking about the minimum requirements for like a rural residential zone? Because we're
Yes.
going to have to do site specific anyway. So we could tailor it to that. Generally speaking, like the frontage is 91.4, I think, meters. So it would meet the frontage. I'm not honestly exactly sure on the area. If it didn't meet it exactly, it would be pretty close. But I think the intention was that they wanted that area for the kids to play away from the road.
So okay. I just wonder why the lot isn't more square with a portion in the back.
As far as I understand, the rationale was it was like they were just going to draw that line straight down, but then the current property owner said it was such a nice piece of land back there, and it was flat. It was good for the kids to play, and they just drew that line over. That was the rationale. It was just a desire to keep the kids away from the road.
If I may, Madam Chair, to Member Snyder's question, if you look at again, I have the air photo up in it. It seems like the angle that's being proposed reflects the location of some of the buildings that are existing on the retained lands. So that's why it's angled in that fashion.
Liz, I think we've lost your audio.
I believe the chair.
My apologies. I turned my audio off so that you couldn't hear my phone ringing. I'm just wondering if we can't maybe reach a bit of a compromise with respect to number 5 and leave it there, but change the wording to reflect that, you know, that particular request or condition be specifically addressed by the municipality during the change in zoning?
Well, I wouldn't leave it as a condition if you're thinking that way. You could put it as a note. I do know when the comments were received by the neighbor that we did forward them off to Dysart planning staff, so they are aware of the concerns. So to Sue's point, it is a separate planning process, and so this particular member of the public can address Dysart Council in regards to that at a later date. But you know, if you want to put it as a note, you could do that, and therefore it's not a condition that is required to be cleared by the applicant at this time. But the note would be a heads up, shall we say, for Dysart staff to consider that. And even at that, it is a separate planning process, and the same member of public could raise those issues at that time as well.
I confess to being a little bit concerned about this particular condition. I can see the rationale for it by the people who have raised it. Thoughts from the committee about which way to go? Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, I like the idea of the note that Steve has proposed, that it be considered at the lower level. I think that may address the applicant's concerns initially, and also the people that are neighbors, their concerns as well. Maybe a good place to hold it there at public meetings.
Member Blakes, your thoughts?
I agree with the last comment.
Okay.
There's one other thing though while I'm speaking. On page 14, there's a note that there's an unusable nor safe outbuilding on the property, an unsafe building on the property. And there's been a lot of talk of children playing around there. Is there something that can be done about that? That's on page 14, handwritten note by Jessica.
There is no buildings on the proposed lot, to be severed lot.
Okay, your point in 5.0 It says non-usable nor safe small outbuilding, building date unknown.
Yep, so the building that is non-usable is on the to be retained lot on our property, not on the severed lot.
But it's an unsafe building. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that it's an unsafe building. I'm saying it's a building that we do not use.
Oh no, in your handwritten notes, it says non-usable nor safe. To me, that would say unsafe.
I see.
Nor safe?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I don't recall
Yeah.
writing that. It is just a building that we do not use that is on our property.
Yeah, it does specifically say non-usable nor safe small outbuilding. At any rate, if that's on the property to be retained, it doesn't relate to this application, I would think. Am I correct in that, Mr. Stone?
You are, yeah. And certainly, unsafe buildings are in the purview of the chief building official anyways, so.
Maybe we can make a note about that too. So we would, in essence, remove item, condition number 5 and make.
Well, actually, you would remove the last line and just, if the committee wants, it could be added as a note at the bottom that, the applicant should, the committee should advise the applicant to follow up with Dysart planning staff with regards to, locations of buildings in light of the public comments received.
Does that meet the satisfaction of the committee?
Yep.
Mr. Snyder? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve this application with the amendments to the conditions? Moved by member Kennedy, seconded by member Snyder. Thank you.
Moved by member Kennedy, second by member Snyder, be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-21 of 22 Shaw, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-21 of 22 Shaw, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report as amended. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay.
That's carried. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is by Cook in Highlands East for an easement right away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As described, this is a fairly simple application insofar as a proposed right-of-way to help out with vehicle access onto these lands. Just going to pull up the severance sketch. So if you look at it, it is a circular, a curvature driveway to the benefit of part 2 over the retained land. So with that, it's on the properties are waterfront properties. They don't both the one lot that's benefiting from the application approval. It already sustains a cottage development on it. In terms of official plan, the county's official plan would designate this as rural, and the township official plan would have this as waterfront. So it's a fairly routine type of application that we get. And so based on that, the conditions reflect what is required of the applicant to ensure the establishment of the right-of-way. And based on that, the recommendation is to approve. I do have Bob Crun, who is in attendance and may wish to speak to it as well.
Mr. Crump, would you wish to speak to the application?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, no, I have nothing to add, just it's a very simple application. I've had this cottage for about 30 years now, a little bit more than 30 years. The driveway's been in existence all that time. It's been a handshake deal. We share the maintenance. And my neighbor is quite happy to grant me the right of way for a fee, obviously. And I don't think there should be any issues. He's totally in support of my application.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the application?
No, that's it. Nobody else in attendance now.
Do any members of the committee have questions about the application? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve the request? Moved by member Kennedy, seconded by member Blakes.
Moved by member Kennedy, second by member Blakes, be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-23 of 22 in the name of Cook, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-23 of 22 Cook, subject to the conditions outlined in the said report. Member Kennedy, yea or nay?
Yay.
Member Schneider, yea or nay? Chair Danielson, I believe we might have just lost member Schneider.
It looks like we have lost him.
Member Blakes, yea or nay?
Yay.
Chair Danielson, yea or nay?
Yay. Before, I'd just like to give it a minute to see if member Schneider can get back on.
I'll see if I can forward him. Oh. No, I don't seem to. I don't see him, so let's see if.
There he is. Can you hear us, Bob?
Oh, there he is.
So we're in the middle of a vote, and it's we're looking for an A or nay from you.
Yay.
Thank you, that's carried.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No, it's not your fault. Okay, carrying on with the agenda. I don't believe we have any correspondence. Any additional reports from you, Mr. Stone? So that leaves us to introduction of our new senior planner, who has been listening patiently in the background.
Yeah, it is, Madam Chair and the rest of the committee, it is my pleasure to introduce Adam. Adam is our latest addition to the county team. He holds the position of senior planner. By way of, I guess, to be very happy, he and I did share similar duties at Seguin Township. He is coming with almost 12 years of shoreline development experience, and he and I were, to coin his pleasure of wrestling, we were tag team buddies when it came to development around the lakes in Seguin, as well as shoreline protection as well. So Adam has a tremendous amount of experience and is a great asset for what we're doing here with the county. Another thing too that Adam was very instrumental in helping me with was the bringing about research on short-term rentals in sequence. So he was the architect of a few public engagement exercises that we were running there. So I'm really lucky to have him on board. So,
Well, good timing. We're right in the thick of both of those issues.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Adam. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Steve, for the introduction. And yes, I look very forward to working with everybody and very happy to be back up in the north. As Steve said, I spent most of my career on the west side of Muskoka and very, very, very happy to be back up in Haliburton. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Okay, I don't believe, go ahead, Pat.
I just want to welcome you, Adam. You're in the frying pan sort of thing, jumping in here with shoreline and short term, but welcome. And we're certainly appreciative of your expertise and your background in this. So it's going to be a great asset moving forward. So thank you.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe we have a closed session. I would like to comment about just one thing. I have a little bit of difficulty not knowing who's on the screen. And if there's any way for us to work that out, and not only first names, but first and last names on the screen, or maybe have the person introduce themselves and, you know, say where they're coming from. That was a little bit awkward with that one application, knowing who was on the screen and who wanted to speak to what.
And we will endeavor to do our best in that regard. I know it's, you know, I think we've advertised a lot of these applications 3 or 4 times, and we asked them to pre-register. And even with the last invite that we did, there was only 2 individuals out of that whole group that responded saying they wanted to speak. So I do apologize. It's just the nature of things, but we will endeavor to do better for the next meeting.
Thank you. That's much appreciated. So our next meeting is scheduled for June the 13th. Hopefully that date works for everyone. I've already got it marked down. So could I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Moved by member Blake, seconded by member Kennedy.
Moved by member Blake, second by member Kennedy. Be it resolved that the May 9th, 2022 Land Division Committee meeting be hereby adjourned.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated.
Good.
See you next.
Good night, everyone.
Night.